Hi guys, welcome to Threads Podcast, Life Unfiltered, COVID-19 version, social separation. Ben and I are in different locations, so we're going to try to get through this, and hopefully it sounds good and all that good stuff. Thankfully, Ben and I both have recording equipment in our home studio, so the audio version should sound pretty okay. So
yeah, it should sound just like any other one.
Right. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I would say we're super excited to podcast, but I mean, I'm excited to podcast, but, with all this going on, it definitely leaves a little bit to what's the word? To desire? No, that's not it. So
yeah, it's just different. We'll just go with that.
All right. Well, Ben, why don't you tell us? Well, you actually have a little different intro today about what Threads is about. So why don't you go ahead when you're ready?
Yeah, so I was, like many of you, scrolling through Facebook recently. There's not a whole lot else to do during this quarantine phase of life. And one of my good friends from college posted something that really stuck out to me, and I felt like it just really reflected the heart of what Threads podcast is all about. So this is very much in tandem with current events. So I'll read the post and then kind of tie it all together for how it sums up who we are at Threads. So the post says, parents, if you're comparing yourself to the moms on social media who have all lovely posts about how amazing their transition to homeschooling is going and how nice it is to have family togetherness time and how it's just all so beautiful and fun, I once witnessed someone, without her knowing that I saw, yelling at her kids in Target to hurry up and choose something now. If you don't pick something in 30 seconds, we are leaving with nothing. Listen, we've all been there. It happens. However, she then posted on Facebook from the Target parking lot a picture of her kids smiling and holding up their toys. Wait, it gets better. With the caption, took the kids to Target to spend gift cards today. It was so fun letting them take as much time as they needed to choose their items. It was so fun to just watch them make the decision without me rushing them. Such fun. Social media is often highly curated. We know this. That indictment brought it home to me very sharply. Well, incident, I can read, really. That incident brought it home to me very sharply since I had actually witnessed reality and then saw how she reframed it for social media. So parents, it's okay. The parents posting that it's all great, I promise you that it's not always great. Our day today included numerous mutterings of, oh God, day 7 or 8 or 5. How are we counting this? What day is it? And a child shaking up a soda and then opening it in the middle of the living room and just standing there as it exploded everywhere, with parents yelling, close it and run to the sink. And I only have 2 children, she says, who are extremely independent and handling all of this incredibly well, considering. This is tough, and tougher for some than others. Don't compare yourselves to the people who claim to have it all together. None of us do. You're not alone. I just thought that was a fantastic kind of summary of current events. This is just a weird time, and this is going to be a little bit weird feeling of a podcast episode. We're not in the same space. We're looking at each other through computer monitors. This is just weird. So let's all collectively just acknowledge how strange current events are, and we're going to get through it. And here at Threads, we are all about life unfiltered, and that's what you get tonight. That's what you get every episode. And that's definitely not what this mom posted on Facebook. So my encouragement to you is to just live unfiltered, be honest with how you're feeling as you go through these days ahead, and listen to Threads podcast because you'll have lots of time to do that. So with that, I will say welcome to the show. This is a chance for Jason and I to talk openly and honestly about life and all of its intricacies, which there are many strange ones that we haven't ever experienced before. So, welcome.
Ben transitioned to personal update.
Oh, do I? I can't have that on the screen. I got too many other things.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'll do it. That's fine. So we're just going to do our normal format. Obviously, there's going to be some stuff in here regarding to what's going on, some without, some funny stuff. I got a video later on that I busted out laughing, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. So just kind of a personal update. It's been different.
It has been.
I'm back to
really different.
Yep. I'm back to work, and that's been good. It's keeping me off social media a little bit. And so the finance part of everyone not quote unquote, not working is okay for us. Megan's working, staying home a few days with the kids, and the kids are kind of doing their schooling by themselves sometimes. So we're making it work. But one thing that I had a frustration with, and I told Ben I was going to talk to him about it, and he had posted something on. I act like you're not here because I said he had posted, even though you are
right here.
Yeah, he had posted something about a new testing station, and it, Facebook has just been troublesome for me. There's just a lot of like fear mongering, and I was frustrated with Ben a little bit because I'm like, man, it's unsolicited advice, and he can do what he wants. Just to let you know, just because we're friends and those things are there. I just told him, and I just feel like, we don't need any more of that because, why add to the fear on social media? I know you're just posting a picture and you're trying to tell a story, but I'm just getting tired of people posting that. I know it's unfiltered, and I get all that. But at some point, I mean, I'm to the point where I'm all ready to delete Facebook. The only reason I use it just for business or for our podcast. Other than that, I'm just like, this is gross. I'm getting tired of it. That's why I've been using a lot of TikTok.
Yes.
And Instagram.
Yep.
Because there's not a lot of, news about it. It's just fun stuff. So I just think as if I could get any advice as going forward, if it's not going to add value, I don't think you should post it.
Is that advice to me or to everybody?
Just in general. What you can obviously you want to rebut that, I'm sure. So,
well, all I'll say about the picture is, it was novel and interesting, and I try to post about things that are interesting that make you go, my intent was never to create a sense of fear, and I think if anything, seeing a picture like that, if I saw it, I would be like, oh, sweet, they have this in my community. I can get help. I can get tested. But I can definitely see how some may interpret it differently. I view the world with a different set of eyes than you do, or anybody else does for that matter. So I definitely hear where you're coming from.
Yeah, my only thought was, and I did make a comment, that you couldn't just go down there and get tested. You had to be pre-approved by your doctor. Yeah. So if you would have said, hey, there's a new testing site, but just remember, you have to be pre-approved by your doctor before you, you can go down there. But I don't know. I just saw that. I was like, oh, man, it kind of bummed me out. But again, it's totally up to you. That's what's great about social media and America and all that. You can kind of post what you want. So I'm just getting a little what am I trying to say? Just it's dragging me down a little bit, and it's making me edgy. So
yeah, I totally agree. I had to put my phone down a few times recently and just be like, you know what? My kids are happy, they're healthy, and what else do I need? What else do I honestly really need to know in this moment other than my family is okay? And, just take a break from it. It's so hard to do, though, because it impacts us on every level, and it's hard to push pause on it sometimes.
Oops, somebody's got Telegram open. I just sent you a message.
Yes, you did.
All this all this stuff is new for us. We're running through our computer.
Mute. Disable notifications.
You're good.
As long as nobody else messages me, we're good.
Okay. I messaged you on another platform and you didn't see it, so I just wanted to see if... Well, obviously it got your attention.
Yeah, bing!
So what about your update?
My update is this week I also went to work each day, and that was interesting. I started the week kind of, well, I'm sure like most everybody else in the world did, kind of wondering like what's going to happen. And I would say even a little bit fearful. I'm an anxious person, and it can be hard for me to separate anxiety from reality, I guess you could say. So all week I would just be watching the news and just feeling the weight of everything. I still went out and did my prospecting, which is essentially going door to door and talking to businesses. As the week went on, that became harder and harder to do as many buildings were shutting down in light of everything. And I actually ended up having several really good conversations that would not have happened if it wasn't for everything that's going on right now. People's guards are down, and if they're at work, they're a little bit more willing to talk to you because they are doing the same thing I'm doing. They're going to work. They're wondering what's going to happen. And, it's like me. I'm doing the same thing. I'm going to work. And so I had several really good conversations for work, but they were few and far between. And it was just a very odd, strange week. Our boss told us to just go about business as usual, but it's kind of impossible to do that now. And I guess I'm just left wondering what in the world is going to happen come tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully they'll have a meeting, or they've already scheduled one, because at this point, I mean, they've shut down tattoo parlors and haircut places and spas and everything like that. I mean, it's like almost everything is pretty much shut down other than like takeout food.
Yeah, it's something.
So I'm not sure how you're going to be able to prospect with 90% of businesses closed other than over the phone or email. But even then, they might not be even accessing that.
Exactly. My best chances are honestly email at this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's something.
Another thing we like to do is share a flub and a failure and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't write anything, but again, I've just been super edgy, and I can't pinpoint why. And of course, I had a flub today.
Hey,
with my beautiful wife, and just escalating arguments quickly to, what is that? DEFCON, whatever it is.
Sure.
Not going up the scale and just kind of, doing that. And I just wish, I assume it has to do with all this, what's going on, but I'm going to work like normal. I don't know. It's just, I think that's just a multitude of things that are just kind of poking at me a little bit. And I need to figure out a way to, whatever it is. Like I'm not walking around feeling edgy, but when like things come up like arguments, it's like, zoop, right there.
Sure.
So
I think the whole world is on edge. And how often can we actually even say that? It's just how it is right now. Like every country in the world is facing this on some level. So it's something. My flub, it's not really a huge, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just blew up at my wife or whatever the case may be.
Oh, thanks.
I know. Sorry. Honestly, I've been living in introvert heaven. Jason messaged me earlier today. He's like, dude, I haven't heard from you. How you doing? And I'm just like, I guess I really haven't talked to anybody lately. So it was a good reminder to check on my people and say hi. But no, in the midst of this introverted hermit lifestyle, this morning, our animals do not have the same sleep schedule that we do right now. Everybody in our family loves to sleep in except for the dog and the cat. So the cat started meowing around 6 a.m. The dog had to go pee. So I got out of bed and dealt with them. And as I did, I shut the door to the bedroom behind me. And it's a door that is locked with a number pad just because of a number of reasons with our kids. We needed a safe haven for my wife and I. So it's protected by a keypad lock. Well, for some reason, I don't know how and I don't know why, but the code like disappeared from the doorknob and I could not get back into my bedroom. So it's like 6:30 ish. And I'm trying to figure out how do I want to get back in. And, well, I could knock, yes, but that would wake my wife up.
I know.
We also have a doorbell outside of the door that would ring in the room too. I thought about pushing that, but I was like, no, I can't. And so I resorted to getting on my Mac where I'm sitting now and trying to send a text to my wife in hopes that she would somehow wake up and see it. Well, thankfully around 7:00, she did get up. She had to use the bathroom. And she came into the office. She's like, what are you doing awake? It is 7:00 in the morning. I'm like, yeah, I've been here since 6. She's like, well, where's your glasses? It's like, in the bedroom. I got locked out. So that was my flub. Just a moment of what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm locked out of my bedroom. I don't want to wake my wife up. She worked last night and got home at 1:30. So trying to be respectful and conscientious to her. And I was just feeling stuck and locked out.
Are you sure you weren't getting licked out?
I see what you did there. Yeah. So in our rundown, I made a fantastic typo. I got licked out, not locked out.
That could go several different ways.
It sure could. Oh, man.
So, yeah, just going to transition to, well, let's talk a little bit before we transition to therapy update. I know it's not on here, and I want to talk a little bit about what's going on, but most of our stuff really isn't a ton about that. How is your family doing after, I think we checked in like a week ago with about your kids or just how it's going? I know a lot of things have changed now.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering how your family is doing in regards to dealing with the stress and anxiety, if there is any. I assume there is for sure with you, but what about the rest of your family?
Good question. Stefan is just kind of living his best life. I mean, staying up late, sleeping in, playing video games most of the day. We have not really done a ton of instruction stuff with the kids yet. We kind of feel like this week was a bust. Now, obviously, starting tomorrow, things are going to shift a little bit, and that will be a part of our schedule. But so far, just for everybody's sanity, we've not really pushed much expectations on the kids. They've had unlimited screen time, and they do come up and come out of their rooms just to say hi or to check in, and I can definitely see in my son there's definitely this I don't know, just maybe I guess I'd call it anxiety, but it's not like super pervasive to the point that it's messing him up. It's just kind of like this being on edge that you were talking about. I definitely see that in him. And Miracle is just, honestly, she's been kind of happy-go-lucky and in a really good space for, well, ever since school let out. So we're really starting to see that so much of her issues were motivated by school, and we're trying to figure out what do we do moving forward, knowing that. So, yep. Has
your school communicated with you in regards to like materials or some sort of curriculum? I can't say that word.
You said it just fine. Yes, they do. We picked up Chromebooks for each of the kids. And then their teachers have been really good about emailing over information. And the school district also put on their website a whole list of resources by grade level. So instead of having to sift through all the emails, you can just pull up that list and it will, bring you to everything you need to know and give the kids their Chromebooks and let them do school.
Yeah, our school was a little different. Our administration told the teachers they were not allowed to give homework for last week, even though some of them did.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, they've been sending a lot of emails to, resources and stuff like that. And we actually did the exact opposite. We went right into a schedule.
Really?
Yeah, kids kind of thrive on that. I was off Monday and Friday last week, so I took care of that. Megan was off a day or two last week. So yeah, we went right into it. And yep, day starts at 10, so that way whoever's home gets to sleep in a little bit as far as the parents go. And it goes till about 4:30, and we're doing academic and creative time. And so I'm curious to see what the school is going to say tomorrow. I know they're scrambling to try to get stuff together, but
yeah.
In my opinion,
sorry, go ahead.
I say, in my opinion, I don't think they're going to go back, but yeah.
Yep. Yeah, what's interesting too is the governor put out some guidelines that essentially state that whatever you're doing at home doesn't count as instruction time.
Oh,
yeah.
So they're going to have, let's say they end up running out the year home. We're going to have to repeat second semester?
I don't know if they've decided that yet, but based on the current rules, yes, they would have to make it up. It would be like missing stuff for snow days. If you have too many snow days, you have to add them on to the end of the year. Right now, that's the law, but they may very well change that in light of recent events.
Yeah, it feels like things change every day. So
yeah, it's insane.
Who knows what they're going to say at this point? We'll just have to keep watch. But my kids have been doing okay. Avery's been a rock star, doing her schoolwork. Her teacher sent homework, so she's doing it. And I've been working with Sully on a couple different platforms like ABC Mouse and Khan Academy, just to kind of just keep that brain firing and reading with them. Yeah. So,
yep.
But other than that, things are good. Megan's under a little bit of stress because just like the government, her day changes every day when she goes in.
I can imagine.
Just new rules and new procedures. And as being an educator, she has to implement a lot of that stuff. So, yeah, that's been a little tough for her. She's been a little teary-eyed throughout the week. She's doing a good job, but, man, it's just tough.
Yeah. And both of our wives work in hospital settings, and as you can imagine, that's a very stressful environment to be these days.
Yeah, with Andy, definitely a little bit more than Megan, as she's more on the front lines. So I'm sure that adds a little stress for you, but it makes it all more important for you to stay home, Ben.
Yeah, seriously. I don't know what I could be carrying. I'm honestly, if Tyler calls and says it's business as usual this week, I'm just going to say I can't go prospecting. It's not in the best interest of anybody.
No.
With the amount of germs my wife's been exposed to working at the hospital, not so much.
Yeah, I think smarter. I'm not saying he's not smart, but I hope things prevail that, people are like, oh, okay, this is pretty serious. Again, I don't like staying home either. I am kind of a homebody, but I want to go when I want to go. And I'm thinking before I go to the gas station, I'm like, is this a good choice to go grab a Monster now? And I'm thankful that they're still open.
No kidding.
But I've tried to limit myself. My kids have not left the house in 8 days, so
wow,
they're not planning it. Well, they've gone out and played, but
sure.
So
I take my kids on a drive. That's about it. So honestly, just getting them out of the house, going for a drive. I took Stefan downtown, drove Miracle to Speedway. That's as far as she wanted to go, and she bought all kinds of snacks. So we're making do.
You have to correct that. Megan did take the kids to Kent Trails to walk through there. Fun. But yeah, that's about it. So, well, we're going to transition to therapy. What's going on with us? Kind of changes for my therapy as my therapist is pregnant, and I think she's due end of April, maybe beginning of May. So and she's taken 12 weeks off. So yeah, she gave me the opportunity to see other people, but I'm like, this is weird. I'm just going to take 3 months off. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Hard.
But one thing we've been working on with her and Megan and I is these check-ins. Like, she challenged us every day to take a check-in in the morning and at night within reason. If I'm going in at 5:30 in the morning and she's sleeping in, I'm not going to wake her up and say, "Hey, honey."
Yeah.
Because that check-in's going to go poor.
You're right. Shut up and let me go to sleep.
Right.
So you're essentially going 90 days without therapy?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think I have one more appointment before she's off, and that might get canceled. She might. I mean, I can't believe she's still seeing patients, but maybe that's changed now. I haven't heard from her, but I think I have one appointment before her maternity leave, and then after that, it's going to be like 90 days.
Wow.
So, but anyways, the check-ins, she challenged us like every morning and every night to do like a 5-minute check-in, and not like, "How's your day?" I mean, it's part of it, but just like, how are you feeling today? How's your anxiety level? Like, is there anything I can do to help? Those kind of things. And well, the last couple of days, we haven't really done much because we're trying to get this schedule under our feet. They've been helpful. They've been good. And I even said to her tonight after we kind of had a little spat today, I was like, man, we need to get back to these check-ins because I super love them. I'm having trouble making them a priority because I'm not remembering to do them, not intentionally, but just I'm forgetting about them. And she's like, you need to start making them a priority. And I'm like, I get it. She's like, the podcast is a priority. I'm like, I know. It just runs through my brain, and I need to get in the habit of having these check-ins run through my brain. So
sure,
that's good where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, for me, I missed last week's appointment because I had a meeting that didn't actually end up happening, but I had canceled because I had to be in Muskegon for work. That ended up not even happening, so I just missed therapy for a week. But starting Tuesday, I will be seeing my therapist through, this setup.
Telehealth?
Yeah. Yep. He is not seeing anybody in person, and rightfully so. I think that's smart. So I'm really curious to see how that goes. The nice thing about going to a therapy office is they have those noise machines, and they have the.
Sorry,
that was me. I think.
I think so.
Anyway, they have noise machines that create white noise, and they put them in front of the doors so nobody can hear your conversations. I'm just trying to prepare myself for not having that kind of layer of privacy. It's going to be in my office just like I am right now, hoping and praying that nobody barges in. So and then what's interesting too is Miracles Therapy is also going to be telehealth. So we've just kind of talked about how if the on-air sign is on Dad's door in the office, don't go in.
Yeah.
Just leave space to whoever's in there. So
yeah, one of the therapy thing I forgot to bring up, we started Avery seeing somebody. She's seen my therapist before, but just to keep it cleaner, we had her see someone else just starting. Nothing major going wrong, just hormone stuff. And, we have I know some people might look at it and be like, well, there's nothing wrong. Why are you going? I'm like, well, I want her to have as many tools as I can. So when she's an adult, because when she's gone, like I can't provide those tools anymore.
It's true.
I mean, everything's been fired in her brain, and I've made some mistakes as a parent, and I want to make sure she has a safe space to talk about that stuff. And if I have the insurance to do it, well, hell, I'm going to do it. And so, hers was her first appointment was telehealth.
Oh man, first appointment. That's got to be tricky.
Yeah, she said it was okay. But yeah, you're right. I see what you're saying where, that's your safe place when you're talking to your therapist. And now you're going to be home with your wife and 2 kids. And it's like, maybe you need to put one of those sound things out there. Put your phone out there and just turn on full blast of white noise.
Here at the Threads podcast, we value mental health, and we like to peer pressure our listeners into getting help. And what's so exciting about that is we now have a sponsor who believes in our show and has offered to sponsor us. I got to give a quick shout out to BetterHelp.com. That's BetterHelp, H-E-L-P.
BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist.
you can start communicating with them in less than 24 hours.
It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It's professional counseling done securely online.
There happens to be a broad range of expertise among BetterHelp's counselor network, and you may not even have access to something like that in your local market.
The service is available for clients worldwide.
And you can log into your account anytime and send a message to your counselor.
You'll get timely and thoughtful responses, plus you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions so you won't ever have to sit in those uncomfortable waiting rooms as you do with traditional therapy.
BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change counselors if needed.
It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is available.
BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today.
Visit their website and read their testimonials that are posted daily at betterhelp.com/reviews. That's betterhelp.com/reviews.
Yeah, so all you got to do is go to betterhelp.com/threads. That's betterhelp.com/threads. And you can join the over 700,000 people taking charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional.
For Threads listeners, we have a special offer. You can get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/threads. That's betterhelp.com/threads. So go check it out. Get your 10% off. Get started in therapy.
You can do it.
So we just want to talk about our sponsor, BetterHelp. We're not going to play the ad, but it's BetterHelp, betterhelp.com/threads. That's betterhelp.com/threads. And you can go there and save 10% off your first month. It's kind of what we're talking about, telehealth.
Yeah, no kidding.
They offer several different plans and several different ideas of therapy, texting therapy, face-to-face via, telehealth or those kind of things. So check them out. We super appreciate them being supportive of our show, because that's what we're trying to do, is get people to go to therapy, and because we know it helps a lot. It's helped Ben and I and his kids and my kids and etc. So it's betterhelp.com/threads, betterhelp.com/threads to get 10% off your first month.
Check it out. So next up, we have our God question. And man, it's just such a strange time in our world. I've said that so many times already on this episode, but I just cannot wrap my head around all of this. And then you add in the God layer to it, and it just gets really fuzzy. I don't have a good answer for why doesn't God just come down and fix this all? Like, make it go away. Like, the whole world is at war with this invisible enemy called COVID-19, and it's wreaking havoc all over. And so the question is, what would God's response be to all the COVID-19 shit? And that is what it is. It is shit. Is it something he did on purpose?
So I have a talk. Why I brought that is it something he did on purpose? Megan, my wife, brought up a great point. All these families are getting disconnected with social media and their phones and all these screens. She's like, what if God's just like, you know what? I'm tired of this crap. Guess what? You're stuck in the house for the next month or however long it's going to be, and you are going to be together. And
yeah,
in one sense, I'm like, yeah, that's great. But then I think about, like we posted earlier this week about, the kids that have come from abusive home. Like, you're like, oh crap. Like, they're going to be like, it could be 10 times worse. But I kind of agree with her a little bit that, that maybe God's like, I'm tired. You guys need to be together more. You need to have more purposeful time together. And so guess what? Giddy up.
Yeah, seriously. I just go back to the thought pattern that I hold firmly to, and that is we serve a God who knows what it is to suffer. Jesus is no stranger to suffering. And if you look at all the other religions, none of them have a God who actually experienced human suffering. Typically, gods will distance themselves from suffering. But if you look at Jesus, he suffered the cross. So where am I going with all of that? Truthfully, I don't know, but I just take comfort knowing that I serve a Savior who's familiar with suffering, and he's never left us on our own to struggle. Not sure why he would, cause all of this. That's a question that's just too big for me to even begin to have an answer to. But in the midst of this, I know that he can use this time to better us, like you're talking about, to strengthen the relationships that really matter, to help us refocus on what's truly important. There are so many gods that compete for our attention, whether it's sports, money, entertainment, movies. All of these false gods have essentially been brought to the ground. They don't exist anymore. And so God now has a way to get our attention. So I think it's very possible that I don't think I would say that God orchestrated all of this damage that's happening, but he's using it. And I think that's really awesome.
So do you kind of agree a little bit that he's kind of using this for us to tighten up on the inside with our families?
Absolutely. And also to remind us of what our priorities are and should be. So much money is spent on sports, whether it's going to the events or placing bets on the events, like whatever the case may be. There's so many. It's just a huge idol in our culture that doesn't exist anymore for right now. And that's crazy.
Yeah. I often look at too, in the bigger picture of, there was some locust plague, and I think it was in Saudi Arabia, and then the fires in Australia. I'm like, I said to Megan, and I know, little tongue in cheek, I'm like, oh, he coming back. I'm ready. Let's do this.
He could be. He could very well be.
I know. But in the grand scheme of things, I mean, excuse me, let's think about it. Yeah, this is tough, but it's just tough because we've lost a little bit of our freedom.
Yeah.
We're all healthy. Like you said earlier, we're all relatively, finances are not affected so far. I mean, maybe yours a little bit with being a sales guy, that might slow a bit. But for the most part, we're okay. It's just we can't go anywhere. So we're like, everyone's freaking out.
Yes.
And if I could say anything, it's going to be okay. We'll make it through. And please just stay home.
Yeah. And wash your hands.
Wash your hands. Well, if you're at home, you don't. Well, I guess you should wash your hands at home too. But
yes,
I don't feel bad giving my. I mean, maybe I should stop giving my kids a kiss. I don't know. I mean, it's just like one of those things where it's like I do go out in the public a little bit when I work, not much, but
sure.
Anyways, so to jump into current events.
Let's do it. So, current events is very much what the title says. We talk about things that are moving or something that stirs emotion, and it's hard to not be stirred these days. So a lot of our articles that we'll discuss are about COVID-19, or at least some responses to them. But yeah, just a time for us to point out some cool things happening in our world, things that we can learn from, things we can laugh at, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so the first is a video of an 8-year-old boy that's making cards for a nursing home. So we're going to play that, and then we'll talk about it.
With all of the closures mixed with social distancing, it can feel lonely, even with the many ways social media connects us. The 19's Heather Fontaine found one little boy who's taking it back to pencils and paper to spread a kind message.
I just love it.
8-year-old Cooper, keeping it colorful.
Ooh, rainbow.
Creating notes of kindness for Clarksville seniors.
Because I think it makes everybody happy.
Just a kid and 186 cards. each with their own artistic touch.
You just open it and then it just does the rainbow back over again.
And a message inside thanks to Mom, Amanda Townsend.
It says, we hope that this card will brighten your day. We just wanted to make people smile and know that there's people out there thinking about them. And, you know, we don't know how long this is going to last. It could last months. And we know you're in there and you can't have visitors, but just wanted to do something nice for people.
2 nursing homes in southern Indiana have been gifted Cooper's stack of creative cards. Vanessa Lewis delivered them throughout Riverview Village.
Every single one of them smiled. There wasn't one resident in the building that, you know, like wasn't interested. They all loved it and thought that what a sweet little boy that just thought of them, you know, and made all those cards.
Amanda's proud of her son
Saying hi.
for passing along some positivity during this pandemic. Something Cooper hopes will inspire others to do the same.
I think they could, do this to be nice to people.
Heather Fontaine, WHIS 11 News.
With all of the closures mixed with
Oh, what a great video. What an uplifting video. It is still talking about the epidemic and but it's still good to see that those kind of things are still happening and these kids are sorry, I'm struggling. These kids are still able to see the positive as some people are kind of, it's the end of the world. He's like, I'm going to do this for them. I'm going to make them happy.
Such a cool thing to see kids doing that. Especially.
Yes, for sure.
So, well, the next one that we have, if your spouse or if you are a fan of TV medical dramas, you have even more of a reason to be big fans of them. A number of TV medical dramas are donating all of their gowns, gloves, and masks to real hospitals fighting COVID-19. So let's see. Station 19 is one show. It's a firefighting TV show. They donated some supplies to the Ontario Fire Department. Medical supplies from the set of Grey's Anatomy are also reportedly being donated to hospitals in LA. Just a comment from one of the producers at Grey's Anatomy. We have a backstock of gowns and gloves, which we are donating as well. We are all overwhelmed with gratitude for our healthcare workers during this incredibly difficult time. And in addition to these donations, we are doing our part to help them by staying home. So, and then another show, TV, or The Good Doctor from TV, also involved with contributing supplies. So it's really interesting. You never think about all that goes into making a TV show, but in order to make it believable, they're using actual medical equipment and scrubs and protective gear. So pretty awesome that these shows are stepping up and donating their supplies.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed a lot of is people making masks for staff at hospitals because they're running out. I know that they use one a day or one every shift or one before break, and so they keep going and going and going. So I don't know if the ones that they're making, I think they're ones that you can bring home and wash so that, you can wear another day. So if you're good at sewing, look that up somewhere if you're looking for some way to help, because I know people are definitely looking for that.
Yeah, for sure.
So one thing that we, we're all like, oh, woe is me, we're locked in the house. But one thing that we don't think of sometimes, and some people do, but is the homeless. Megan and I were kind of talking about it yesterday, and in a little bit of a joking fashion, not to joking about homelessness, I'm like, well, they're probably safer outside than they are, crammed in a building, right. or whatever. But looks like a couple of the places are still open in Grand Rapids. United Ultimate Alternatives is a drop-in center for people with mental health challenges. They are actually closed, but they are trying to provide, meals, and they're asking the city to step in and put some wash stations in around the area. I don't know how that's possible, but I'm sure they can do it. A couple of the other sites, Meltrotter is open. They're taking extra precautions. Dagage is limited dining room to women for now. they're only allowing up to 50 people, and a couple other places too are trying to do some things. But yeah, that's tough. You know, they really probably aren't going to the shelter because they're worried about, you know, getting sick. And man, the prisons and homeless shelters, what are they going to do to stop this?
I know. That's just a crazy thought.
I know it. In a state prison system, there's 6 or 7 people in a cell, and you're closer than 6 feet.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
But yeah, what else can we do? You know, you want to take them in and you want to help them. Other than, I think it is good to walk around and pass out meals and hand sanitizer and maybe set up some wash stations. But at this point, I'm not sure what else they could do.
Bring tents? I don't know. I mean, or sleeping bags? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully it's starting to get warm, but it's still below freezing at night.
It's cold.
So my guess is more people are sleeping outside now just due to the fact that, you know, with this, they don't want to get sick either.
Yeah. Yep.
But why don't you explain your next video a little bit? I am going to play that one. The other two, no video or audio for that. So,
all right. So for this next video, going back to the first video we watched, this is another example of our younger generation stepping up to the plate and making a difference in the lives of their elders, the ones that are the most susceptible to this crazy illness that is wreaking havoc on our world. Just to see these students step up and do something about it is just really awesome.
Is this the cello video?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
So,
hello, Vlad. What are you thinking about today?
Good to see you once again. So listen, guys, Taran and Calliope Tien are 9 and 6 years old. And just like Yo-Yo Ma, they also play the cello. Their instructor tasked them with holding virtual concerts during this period of social distancing. But after their mom, Rebecca, checked in on a self-quarantined neighbor, she made other plans.
Hello.
Dressed in concert clothes and aided by mom Rebecca, siblings Calliope and Taran Tien are here to perform for their self-quarantined neighbor.
2, 3, 4.
78-year-old Helena Schlamm.
I haven't been out of the house, well, except in the yard, for the last 5 days.
Helena lives alone and says she got a call from Rebecca asking if she needed groceries. When Helena said she was fine, Rebecca thought of a different offer.
Helena really loves music, so I asked her if she'd like if the kids came to the porch.
She knows that I love music, and I really like her kids. They are terrific.
So Helena joined the kids outside, practicing responsible social distancing, of course.
We loved playing the cello for other people, and then we thought about how she was stuck in her house. So we thought it was a great idea and it might make her happy.
If you let Helena tell it, happy would be an understatement.
Well, I was just thrilled. I sort of feel like a little kid.
That was such a beautiful song, guys. It's Song of the Wind by Suzuki, cello book number 1. Not only was Helena moved by Taran and Calliope's playing, she also said it was reassuring that Rebecca checked in on her in the first place. And guys, that is an important reminder for all of us that small gestures can make a big impact and how important it is to look out for our neighbors and our friends and family.
I love everything about that story, Vlad. Everything about it. It's really just great. Thanks, Vlad.
Well, you saw the video and you heard it, and it's great. Again, another fun thing to do, and to do for people, and to say, hey, if you have elderly neighbors, please check on them, because you don't know how long they've been in there. You know, I mean, it could have been a while, and it's just one of those things you should do. I don't know if Ben's done any of that. I know I have done my 2 neighbors on each side. I know one I've seen leave, the other one I haven't, so I texted her, but she says she's been leaving, and well, she's okay. She hasn't been leaving, but she's okay.
Sure. Are they older?
Yeah, I would say like younger than my parents, but not by much, like maybe a couple of years.
Nice.
So
Sorry, Megan just chimed in. I think she heard noise and asked if I was pooping. So
What?
Megan says, "Did you poop?"
Oh.
So I said, "I need my bidet."
Oh, my bad. I was behind in the comments. I didn't even see any of them. But Megan asked, "Why do I have a shield of shame?" It's called a pop filter.
Pop filter. I should have one too, but I don't. Mine's at your house.
Yeah, that's okay. Woo, that was rough. We made it.
I felt like I needed to take the green screen down because people were asking about it.
Well, you had it up. What happened to your pictures that you had up there?
It was all glitchy.
He's got a dirty closet behind it, guys. That's why he had it up. Oh, man, I missed all kinds of comments. Tim said you ordered from Domino's last night. It was a 2-hour wait. Oh, sorry about missing all the comments. I'm an idiot. Okay, so the next one, I hope the video plays because it is freaking hilarious. It actually
I will mute my mic.
It actually has to do with a city council meeting talking about COVID-19, but what unfolds is freaking hilarious.
It's priceless. Now, there are 2 videos going around of city council meetings. One of them is very serious.
Yes.
And one is very funny. So I'm glad you're playing the funny one because I don't want to watch the serious one again.
Yeah, this one is funny. So, all right, here we go. Get ready to laugh because I was busting out earlier when I was loading it up.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll try and keep this brief. I won't belabor all the details. I'm sure most of you remember Mr. Guest's presentation from last time, and I imagine he's going to hit some of the highlights here in a minute. But the thing is that these deadly infections, there's something we can do about it. And what we can do is call on governmental representatives that are higher up the chain of and ask for action at the federal level. I am aware of Mr. Brainerd's concerns that he raised last time, and there would be instances where I actually agree that we should take action locally first, but there are not any CAFO operations in Georgetown, so for us to just say it within the city limits would be an empty gesture. So, and also these diseases
She can't even finish.
Don't know any boundaries. So a state by state approach would just mean that
Okay.
Oh my gosh. So I think they definitely did amplify the farts. They took the audio out and definitely amplified those, but oh my gosh. Oh.
Wow.
Ooh, Megan says, who farts like this? It's like a kazoo.
That's amazing.
If I need to explain it, then you don't need to know.
Wow.
A little funny for y'all.
This is what I was thinking of when I asked Ben if he pooped. Wow.
All right. You're up, Ben, with your 2 or your video. Non-video.
Man, how do you bring it back after that? Got a rally here.
I know.
Working on it. All right, so I'm just going to combine 2 of mine into one, and I'm just going to talk about them. I will put links in the show notes. And if you're listening to the audio version, you'll probably hear some samples of it as well. But for those of you watching the live stream, not going to get too far into it. But suffice it to say, a lot of musicians, some that come to mind are the band Rend Collective Experiment, Indigo Girls. Yes, I am an Indigo Girls fan. Lots of different bands are surviving this COVID-19 by doing free shows on Facebook Live. And it's just really awesome to see. It just kind of creates like this, I don't know, this whole we're all in this together kind of mentality. Like you get to see them in their environment doing their thing. And they're making a contribution to help keep the world moving forward. And I think that is just really awesome. So all different genres of music represented there. It's really amazing to see. And then speaking of music, I also have a specific song in mind that has just really spoken to me in these days. It's by John Mark McMillan, and it's just a super deep song. I mean, I was reading Jason's God question about why doesn't God just fix this, or where is God, or is God causing this? And this song came to mind, and I'll just read a couple of verses from it. I think it's just a amazing song. So, come down from your mountain, your high-rise apartment, and tell me of the God you know who bleeds, and what to tell my daughter when she asks so many questions, and I fail to fill her heaviness with peace. When I've got no answers for hurt knees or cancers, but a Savior who suffers them with me, singing Goodbye Olympus, the heart of my Maker is spread out on the road, the rocks, and the weeds. And Aphrodite would not weep, nor Zeus would suffer for the weak, but have you come to stand inside my pain? And all the things I've begged you for, eternity and evermore, are hidden with me here beneath the rain. Super deep, super thought-provoking, but I especially love the lines where he's talking about Aphrodite and Zeus. You know, these Greek gods who were known for their strength and never for their suffering. And then you put them side by side with Christ, and it's just a very stark comparison. So, I don't know, that song gives me hope. It doesn't answer any questions. It just opens my eyes to the fact that I'm not alone in this, and I take a lot of comfort in that fact. So music has definitely been something that's helping me weather this storm of COVID-19.
Yeah, we'll definitely this week. I'll actually share those on our social during the week. So thank you for that. Last on the agenda, which should provoke a little bit of discussion, is Whitmer exempts Michigan churches from penalties for 50-plus gatherings. Ooh, here we go. I think originally she said no, and our churches have canceled, but now she said she's not going to press, quote-unquote, charges or get penalized for it. Man, I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah. If I play audio, will it? No, I won't do that. Never mind.
You can.
Well, it's just a video that I saw of a local pastor who was essentially calling out people for being cowards. He was calling out all the churches in our area that were canceling and calling them cowards because they decided to cancel service. And I don't agree with him at all, but he raises an interesting point. Like, this whole experience has shown us just how much control the government has over day-to-day life. And I don't know how I feel about that. So I'm glad that the governor, I think she did the right thing in saying, okay, churches are exempt because, hello, they should be separation of church and state. Anybody? So with that said, though, I still don't think it's wise for churches to meet together in this time. I really don't. We don't know much about this virus other than it can be deadly for some. And for that reason, we should, follow the instruction to not congregate in large groups, just out of respect for everybody's goodwill, like for everybody's help. So it's a sticky situation. I'm glad she made that clarification, but still, I don't think it's wise for churches to gather right now.
Yeah, I mean, you said it perfectly. Church and state, they still do have, obviously, the right to do that now in Michigan if they want to. I agree, too. I still don't think they should do it because if they care about their congregation and realize that there's a lot of old people in there,
Yeah,
they should do the right thing, in which they have. And I know some of them, at least I don't know any of them here that are still going. I haven't seen it pop up at all. Obviously you have. You'll have to send me that. But I just think it's good to do it until the CDC says, okay, we've made it over the bubble. We're starting down. All right, then maybe I'll go back to church. But church is not. And we talked, I think we played a video. I think it was your pastor, Ben, but church
it's not the building.
No, it's not the building. I know some are doing live stream. I wish ours would. I'm not sure why they haven't. It's been 2 weeks. I know they're capable of doing it because we would watch it, and I don't know. I just feel weird watching somebody else's. I know it sounds stupid, but
no, it's fair.
I really love my church, and I'm hoping by next week they have it up. But yeah, I mean, what do you do if one of your congregation gets sick and dies?
Right.
I mean, damn, like you can't prove that you got it from the church, but I mean, yeah.
I know, that's crazy. I kind of want to pull up that video just because it ties in with what we're saying here.
Yeah, if you can, if you can play it, you can play it. You won't be able to show the video portion of it, but you can play the audio.
It's just a little long, but we can cut it off if we need to.
Yes. Take your time.
I feel like I should be moving faster. Okay, here we go. Let me unmute. Wow. Holy cow, that was loud.
Let me know when you're ready. I muted you down. Yeah, there's a lot of comments. Megan says it means we're smart and doing the best for our neighbors. It's just not responsible to have churches hold services. Fear of the virus doesn't mean we don't trust Jesus 100%. And then she says it won't be one person in the congregation. It will be many. That's so true. So
yeah. All right, here it is.
Okay.
Coronavirus. As the whole world seems to be losing its mind, how do we keep ours in the midst of all of the crazy? So just some initial brief observations and thoughts regarding the coronavirus. One ecclesiastical regarding the church, and the other political regarding culture and society and the like. Things that are hopeful and things that we should be very, very concerned about. I think things that we should be very, very concerned about. So regarding the church, I think the church has a wonderful opportunity to share the hope that we have laid up for us in heaven, to share the gospel of Jesus Christ in the midst of this darkness. As Christians, we've been delivered from the domain of darkness and transferred into the kingdom of his beloved Son.
All right, get to it.
The forgiveness of sins. We've been transferred from the kingdom.
Say what?
I told him to get to it.
Right?
Of darkness to the kingdom of light. So we have hope to give people who are scared and people who are hurting and people who are confused. We can bring clarity, we can bring light, we can bring peace, we can bring rest to this situation, all through Jesus. As Christians, historically, we have always been the ones that have run into the fire, not away from the fire. So when it hits the fan, culturally speaking, and everybody's confused, Christians should be stable and steadfast because we are anchored in Christ. We're not going to be blown about not only by every wind of doctrine, but by every fear that sweeps through our nation. We're just simply not going to do that. That doesn't mean that we don't use discernment. That doesn't mean that we act in an irresponsible way. That doesn't mean that we don't right, like wash our hands or things of that nature. We don't need to be irresponsible, but it means that we're not afraid at all by a little sickness and a little disease. And I know people,
a little sickness and a little disease. Really? Thoughts so far?
Yeah, I mean, the one thought that keeps popping up is this isn't Bible times, right? We have the technology, we have the science and knowledge to know that we can prevent people from dying by doing this, and we're not going to wipe people out. So, I mean, I get it, but I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. I'll keep going.
People think this is a very big deal, but Christians have not been afraid by cholera and the bubonic plague and all of these horrible things that have swept through nations before the Spanish flu. Christians are just not people who are governed by the fear of man. So as Christians, we just simply are not afraid of this. Some other thoughts regarding the church. I know the government has come out, and we'll talk about this a little bit, regarding assembly size, and churches have been very concerned and very scared. Do we meet? Do we not meet? And people are coming to blows over it. And I have a very distinct position on this. I don't think Christians should forsake meeting together just because of what the government says. I just don't think that we should. If somebody is in a high-risk group, if somebody is not feeling well, if somebody is not comfortable, that's their individual liberty. By all means, they can stay home. They don't have to come to worship. But I think as leadership, I think we have an obligation and a responsibility to say that what we're doing in the midst of the corporate assembly, what we're doing when the saints
I think we get it.
Is.
Yep, I think that's the gist of it.
Yeah, and I 100% respect his decision. He can do what he wants, but just know that he's putting his people at risk. Now, one thing to defend him a little bit, isn't it the responsibility of each individual person, though, in the world to say, I'm not comfortable for this, I'm going to stay home?
Yeah, it should be. Why do we look to the government to tell us that? Like, we have liberty. That's what our forefathers fought for. We should have the ability to make that decision on our own. So I think there is something that,
I mean,
there.
Yes and no. I'm pro like go America, but I don't 100% trust the government. But I feel like in this time, at first I thought they were overstepping, but I kind of feel like I think they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
I mean, you're kind of talking out both sides of your mouth.
I know. Well, here's the deal. When it comes to church, I don't think it's the government's place to tell us you can't meet.
Agree.
However, I'm glad that they are, because this isn't just an everyday situation. Like, this isn't the government saying, "Oh, it's 2 degrees below freezing. The roads are bad. You can't meet for church." Churches have the ability to make that decision on their own. I think this is just a very different set of circumstances. And given the context, I'm okay with the government having that ability to limit gathering size and whatnot. Now, if this was just an everyday situation and they were doing this, I would be very worried.
Yeah, I would be too. Well, I want to ask one more question. It's not really it's regarded to COVID-19, but not the church per se. But if they do come about and say you can't go anywhere, what's your thoughts on that? Where they just shut everything down, which it hasn't happened. It's happened in a few areas.
It's happening in a lot of places.
Yeah,
I mean, crazy. I would respect that 100%. Now, the guidelines that Italy has issued, you can leave your house. It's not like you have to stay there. You can leave to get exercise or to go to the supermarket. I think those are or if you are an essential staff member at a hospital, grocery store, whatever, I think you can leave. But yeah, I think that's a great way to do it. You're not limiting people's ability to go out and exercise on their own. I think that needs to be held up. But yeah, I think if the government was to say everybody's home, we just stay home.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel that's where they are at right now. I know
it's just not enforced,
right? Yeah. And that's my sister lives in San Diego. They're at that point right now. But my sister says the highways don't look any less, and I noticed that too. When I have been out, they look as busy. But I think it's a perception thing. I think they are less because I know tons of people that are staying home. So I know they are less, but it just seems like it should be like a ghost town, and it's not.
Yeah, no kidding. Although downtown was a ghost town. I drove through with Stefan the other day, and it was just, it's like nobody's out. It's crazy.
Oh, that's good to see, because when I've been around Granville and area in Wyoming, it seems like business as usual.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So just want to talk about our merch. We have merch. Go to threadspodcast.com, click on merch. We'd love you to buy some and spread our podcast around. What was I post? Spread podcast, not viruses.
Yes.
And then, we got social media, of course. We'll post all these videos. Sounds like I'm doing social. Looks like I got it all planned out for me.
There you go. That was easy.
And then we're just going to jump into our unfiltered finale. This is kind of something where we, a new connection was formed or an old one was renewed or those kind of things. And I'm going to let Ben go first.
Yeah. It has been just a really fun thing of connecting with old friends. Like, I have some friends from college. One of my professors actually went on Facebook Live yesterday just to greet everybody and kind of share what's up in his world and express how frustrated he is that they had to cancel or adjust the school year so much at Cornerstone. And I just chimed in and I said, "Hey, I haven't seen you in a long time. Good to see you." And of course, he read that comment and kind of said hello back. And it was just like, this is really cool. And let's see. Then last week, I went digitally to a service at a church that I used to work at. And just, again, having the ability to connect with those people has been really unique. There's just a lot of people that are popping up on Facebook that I haven't seen in a while, and they're doing the Facebook Live, and I get to hear and see them. It's just a really cool thing. So going back to how God can use this time, like, I really think he can to grow relationships and everything else. And I'm definitely seeing that. So I'm thankful for these refreshed connections, but I would love for them to happen without this craziness that's been going on.
Yeah, I feel like I need to do something with my kids. I have all this podcasting equipment and video equipment. I feel like, what could we do so they can look back and either watch it or listen to it, even if I don't post it anywhere, so they can have some sort of, like, I don't know. I feel like we need to do like a 5-minute check-in. How was your day? Talk. I don't know. Maybe it'd be stupid, but I feel like we're going by this so fast, and not that I'm happy that it's happening, but I'm glad that I'm closer with my family or getting closer and spending more time with them. But I feel like we need some sort of, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to describe it.
Almost like a time capsule that you can look back on in 10 years and be like, this is what life was like then.
Right. I mean, obviously, Meg and I talked today about making this a positive, as much as we can, a positive experience for especially Avery. Just due to the fact that, she's going to look back at this, or maybe if it ever happens again, she's like, if it was a bad experience, she may be like, ooh, this is going to be rough. But if it was a good experience, she'd be like, oh, it sucked, but, we got through, we had fun, we played games, we spent a lot of time together. So I know this isn't about a new connection, but that's something that popped in my head.
No, it's good.
I want to make sure that we try to make it as good as possible. So my connection is kind of renewed, I guess. Not with it is with my parents. I've been reaching out to them a little bit more because I've been concerned, and obviously my dad, not my mom. My mom is still in assisted living. Obviously, she's not going to leave there, unfortunately, but apparently she's doing okay. My dad isn't allowed to visit her, so I know that's been hard for him. Yeah. So I FaceTimed him yesterday, and I FaceTimed my mother-in-law, and I know my mother-in-law really appreciated it. She just had knee surgery.
Oh, man.
So she's really locked down. She can't even drive anywhere, and I know it's been hard from her. But, yeah, I've been trying to text them a little bit more and doing actual face-to-face because she says she's legit. She says she's been lonely because she's kind of a busybody with her friends anyways. So again, just reiterating that if, you have a loved one that, maybe is a little bit of a, not shut in, but just older, make sure you connect with them.
Absolutely.
Is that it?
What a crazy episode.
I know. It's weird. I don't know how else to end it other than just be like, I appreciate everyone for listening. I hope this is a little bit of a distraction from all of it. I know we've talked about it, but not the doom and gloom, more the positive. But I think it still needs to be talked about in some sort of fashion, even not just positive, just a reality of it.
Yeah, for sure. It's been really good for me. I don't want to sound like I've just been wallowing in anxiety over here, because I haven't. However, there have been moments where it's just like the shit is just hitting the fan all over the world. Like, what's going to happen? It's nice to have a little bit of a distraction in a podcast. So hopefully for our listeners, that's true for you as well.
I know our numbers will be going down, and that's okay because people aren't commuting. But, if you have somebody that might get use out of this podcast and you enjoy it yourself, just share it. We would really appreciate it. So.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all.
Well, thank you.
What's that?
We don't have a who closes, so we both just jumped in at the same time.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to say thank you guys for listening, and I'm gonna cut y'all loose. Have a good night.